Hello and welcome back. My name is Craig D'Souza. I'm the CEO of the Creative Industry Association. And today's chit chat is with a very good friend of mine, Sarah Hurley, who I haven't seen for almost a year, which is probably a good thing. And I haven't actually spoken to for such a long time. So I'm not too sure what she's up to, what she's doing. I do know that she is very unstoppable. So Sarah Hurley, hello and welcome to the industry chit chat.
Thanks,
Thank you for
Craig.
taking
Nice
the
to
time
see you.
to join us. Thank you very much, and thanks for joining us. So these chit chats are about kind of getting to know you, understanding what you're doing, what your business is. So really over to you. I know that you run Sarah Hurley, but I
Yeah.
think there's more into it. So tell me and the audience what are you doing? What have you been up to in the last 12 months?
Well, the company's changed a lot in the last 12 months, actually. We've completely restructured. I've separated out some of our brands. There's been a lot going on behind the scenes. I suppose I've been a bit quiet on kind of social media and stuff, just because we've been working really hard on making things a bit clearer and a bit more streamlined, because it's just, as my business does, as you know, continues to grow quite fast, and just have to keep adapting and changing.
And so, is it just you now doing this? Do you have a team? What's the makeup like?
No, so I think that was one of the reasons I changed, because the company was always called Sarah Hurley and it just seems like everything's me. There's actually a team behind the scenes that do so much, and I just kind of lead. I'm very lucky that I just have to lead that team. So yeah, we've got an office here in the UK. Well, I work from home in my home office here. I've got another office down the road where my production team work, and we've got an office in the US. Um, so yeah, it's a bigger operation maybe than people might think, because it's always just been
Oh.
me. So yeah,
So,
busy.
it's quite international then. I kind of knew that you had the
Yeah.
America side because obviously travel and
Yep.
do trade shows and stuff like that. But you actually got an office in the US. So then, are you going to be branching out to other global areas? What's the plan there then?
Yeah, well, we were actually last year, we're about to open up an office in Canada when the pandemic hit. So that's been put on hold for now. But yeah, it is very international. Probably about half my business is in the US, an increasing amount from Canada, a fair amount in Europe. So it is, yeah, it's very international. I mean, before this hit, I'd be traveling every kind of 6-8 weeks back and forth to the US, and I've now been home almost a year with going nowhere. So it's been a very strange year for me, definitely.
But has that? I think I spoke to a couple of other friends about this.
Mm,
Obviously, COVID is serious and it's damaging,
mm,
and obviously there's a serious part to this. But also
yeah.
in business, it's actually allowed you to kind of maybe refocus. You've stopped doing all the stuff that you used to do, i.e., travel, go to trade shows, everything else.
Yeah.
And you actually refocused. Is that what you've done, especially with separating out the brands?
Yeah, definitely. I think that there's that element of just feeling like you're on a treadmill at some point, where you're just doing what you always done, kind of thing. And we all get stuck in that thing where, this is what I've always done. I'm going to keep doing it, keep doing it. And this sort of did force me to stop and go, actually, I've got to find new ways now, because I can't just hop on a plane. So there is new things I need to do. And um, definitely made me stop and look at what was going on. And they say about you should work on your business, not just in your business. It really did force me to stop and look at my business and go, actually, we could be doing this better, that easier, that quicker, and all of those kinds of things. So yeah, it's definitely been well, it was a full stop for all of us, wasn't it? Let's face it. So yeah, it's definitely made me rethink things, and it definitely made me split everything out, which is a good thing essentially. So I'm happy with that.
So you're talking about splitting
Yeah.
everything out, and you're talking about brands and
Mm.
everything else. Are you able to tell us what those brands are and what each element does?
Yes. So everything, basically, my business, when it started, was just me, and I was illustrating, and that turned into licensing and product and retail and gift and home and everything.
Sorry to sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt sorry to interrupt you there.
Mm.
Just touching on that
Yeah.
starting, and just for those people that may not know you,
Yeah.
just like 2 minutes of how you actually started. So I think this is really, really important for people that are starting out,
Yeah.
that it can be done
Yeah.
on literally what you had was a shoestring, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was the that credit crunch of 2009, 2010. So I'm in my 10th year now. And I was looking for a job, and everything had, I wasn't particularly qualified at anything. I was kind of a good admin person. I am trained as a lawyer, but I never actually practiced. I was working in marketing, and I was looking for another marketing job, but everyone was being laid off. Everything I went for, there was like 300 or 400 people going for the same job, and it was really tough. And I was down to my last £40 and thinking, well, what do I do? And just, I think it's that fear made me go, right, I'm going to do this and this and this and this and this and try it. And a lot of it started working, and it did snowball really fast. Yeah. So I think
Fantastic.
as well, like, you always hear those stories where people go, I started with absolutely nothing. And then they go, so I had to sell my ski chalet and my Jag, and, and like literally I had no ski chalet to sell. I had no Jag to sell. I didn't even have an Oyster card to pawn. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was done. £40 was it. So yeah, that was my startup story. It was literally a shoestring.
Yeah, and also we hear the stories of, I took out a loan, or I borrowed money from
Yep.
friends and family. You had none of that. It was just generally
No, I
£40,
had none of
wasn't
that.
it?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
just completely £40. And over the years, obviously, I've been offered investment and things like that, but I've never, I still own 100% of the company. It's still completely mine, the US and the UK sides. So yeah, I've never done any of that. Sorry, hang on 1 minute. Don't get here. Hi, I'm just doing a Zoom thing with Craig. Cool. Right, go on, carry on.
So, I mean, looking back at your story, and even still today, it is doable. But my fear is that, everybody looks at you and go, oh, if Sarah could do it, everybody could do it. But there is a lot of hard work gone into this, and
Definitely.
You've had a lot of help and support from various other people within the industry.
You included, Craig.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I know we've had some very, very tough conversations over the years, which has always been fun and challenging.
Yeah.
So thank you for telling us the story of how you set up. Now, with the brands that you've spoken about, and obviously you've said that the Sarah Hurley, as I know it, is the brand, but you talk about other brands and separating things out. What is that? What are they, and what do they look like?
So everything has always been under Sarah Hurley, but it's got to that point where we're getting hundreds of emails a day, and it can range from, I want to change the wording on a keyring, through to, here are the plans of this property you were looking at, or here's the edits on this screenplay that you're looking at, and all of these kind of things. So it just become a lot. And I've created other brands as we've gone. Last year we launched Faith and Grace, which is a faith and inspiration brand. And I've done all these various little brands. We've got, World of Imagination, which is a children's brand we launched about 3 or 4 years ago. And I just thought, actually, this needs to be more separate. My team need to have that ability to take more control and be in charge of something. I also need to be able to separate myself out to the bits that I'm working on a day-to-day basis. I don't think that because my name is on everything, people realize that actually I'm not the one dealing with that issue. I'm not the one dealing with that thing. And so by rebranding and separating those out, I can put a dedicated team behind each brand and make sure that the right people are getting the right attention and as quickly as possible, rather than everything coming to me and then me trying to filter it out to whoever's dealing with it. I don't necessarily look after the day-to-day of everything. So sometimes I might forward something to one person and actually it's someone else dealing with it, and I've got to wait for, then you're constantly waiting for that person to check their email and realize and forward it to that person. And it was just creating, some delays because everything was this one brand. So we took the personalized gift side of the business and we've rebranded that to Chips and Sprinkles, which are the little extras that make life better. So that's one thing we've done. Yeah, so that's great. Straight away, that's a big chunk that's gone to its own team and is being looked after, and that's been a really exciting process to see that. We actually turned that around really quickly, which was good. And we've got some other new and exciting things coming throughout the year as well, which I'll be telling you about. But yeah, it's really exciting, and it's good to see things go in their own places and not all be under this one thing. So my Sarah Hurley now is what I work on day to day, which is licensing and brand creation.
So is that and this split? Obviously, you've got a good team behind you, and I think we've spoken many a times that without being detrimental to anyone, teams and staff can be company killers. So that must have been a very tough thing to do for you to split that out for one, but then also for the other by splitting that out, has that given you more time to concentrate on the stuff that you're good at and what you can do best in terms of doing the licensing, doing the creativity type of things, but then the staff to do that. How do you as a entrepreneur, as a, want for a better word, control freak, manage that staff element? Because I know that's always been a tough conversation, has it, to release that control and then put that trust in staff? Because that I mean, as we've always said, really, staff can be company killers.
I mean, it's about having the right staff essentially, and about having people that you can trust and who care as much as you do. And that's, it's tough to find. It is tough to find, but I'm really lucky. My team now, we're a family company, so everyone here is my family, and that makes life so much easier because we know each other inside out. So that really does help. In splitting things out, I am a control freak, but I think, again, this whole stopping for the pandemic and things changing and things that have happened to me in my life over the last few years as well has made me realize that actually you can't, I had a set plan, I was in control of every single detail, and still things went wrong. I couldn't control what happened, and it's made me realize that actually you need to let go and you need to just move forward and enjoy what you've got while you've got it. And so it's really helped actually, and it's allowed me to step back. I mean, I've never been precious about saying what I'm not so great at and asking for help. I ask you for help all the time and go, Craig, this is not my area, can you help me? I'm not precious in thinking I know everything. Every day should be a learning day, and if you think you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So I'm not precious about saying, actually, I'm not the best person to do this, this is not what I'm good at. But this has allowed me to step back and actually look at the company from a strategy point of view and how the company runs, and then get into the bits that I'm good at, which is the licensing and the brand creation, all of that, and leave that day to day, the production element and the operations and some of the other things that I'm not so great at, to the people that are great at it. And I'm not, because it's all going direct to its own teams and it's all split out, I'm not getting involved in that mix. I get every couple of days I'll get an update of, right, Sarah, this is what's going on, we might need your help with this, what do you think about this? And that's my element of it done. Because I've already put the strategy in place, I've put the systems in place, and I've put the right people in place, more importantly, to do what they're good at.
Well, that's fantastic. It seems like you've got a really strong foundation now to kind of just now push forward and push on, especially with all the different brands. I've been really looking forward and excited to see what those look like and how they develop over the next 12 months, 24 months. So moving on, what's been your biggest kind of challenge in the last 12 months, obviously with COVID and everything else, but have there been any other major challenges that you've had to face that you've kind of gone, I'm glad that's over, now let's move forward?
I mean, any sort of change is difficult, especially for me. I'm not good at change, but my life has changed completely in the last few years. And so I've just sort of gone, okay, that's what's happening today then. I've just become a bit resigned to it now. But yeah, I still struggle with that all the time, because I would really like to just be in my little bubble and left alone to colour in and draw and just do and write books and do my thing. But that's not real grown-up life. So that's definitely been a challenge, all of that. But it's been exciting at the same time. So, I can't, and obviously like everyone else, I've struggled with the anxiety of this, I've lost a couple of people and all of that kind of stuff. So all of that adds to it. But, at the end of the day, we're lucky to open our eyes in the morning. So you just have to be grateful for what you've got.
That's grateful for what you got. And we do thank the Lord that you are well and safe. So
exactly.
For people, sorry. So for people that are out listening and watching, do
Mhm.
you have any top tips, a bit of advice for businesses, professionals, maybe people that are starting out, maybe people that want to be the next Sarah Hurley? I'm sure there's a few people out there. It's always I think it's always very difficult to always copy someone or be like somebody because we're all individualistic. That's just my tip. But do you have any kind of maybe business tips, bits of advice for people that they should look at for the next 12 months?
Be open to change and be ready for it. Don't keep looking at what other people are doing. I see lots of people get bogged down in, well, she's got that and he's doing that and they're doing that, and it doesn't matter. Like, your version of success, know what it is you want and don't get distracted by other people. They might have a bigger, flashier, whatever it is, but we all have our own challenges. So I think it's great to be inspired by people, but don't get bogged down in what they're doing and, well, she's doing that and he copied that and like, just focus on what you're doing, focus on your version of success and keep pushing forward. And just, that's really it, I guess. Focus and being ready for change, because change is going to keep on coming and you've just got to be ready for it.
I think it's difficult, isn't it, to actually be ready for change? You don't actually know what that change is.
No.
I think I think you're absolutely right. Be ready for it, but I think allow yourself to change, because as we've spoken before, you can't control the world right now.
No.
Or today.
No.
And we can't control other people at the moment, and there are other elements in life that are just going to change, and you've got that control over that. So just be flexible for change, because nothing is ever a straight line.
Absolutely,
right? Talk about this success. I want to get here, but it's never a straight line. It's always going to be a zigzag way of doing it.
We all look at other people. You look at other people,
right,
and we see that straight line, but actually you're only ever seeing people's highlight reel. You don't see what's going on behind the scenes, maybe what they're struggling with or what they're dealing with, or all of those kind of things. We don't see that. So focus on, if you're focusing on what you're doing, you're not so distracted by all of that.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I love it when people, and you made a really great point about people want to be like you and they want to be like somebody else and so on and so forth. And then they see this timeline of what they've done. But they're only seeing that because the person that's showing it wants to tell that story.
Absolutely.
They want to tell you that story of, it's always been a smooth road. I've never had any problems, never strived, never had any argument, the website's never gone down. I've never had problems with HMRC. It's always been fine. They want to tell you that story.
Yeah.
But actually, the story is, it is like that.
Yeah.
Because people don't, I think a lot of times people don't want to show weakness.
Absolutely, yeah.
And they also don't want to go, look, I struggled and I asked for help. So that's sometimes difficult.
Well, that's something I've seen, even, I've done some mentoring for the association and things like that. And you see people who come and they're struggling and we give advice, and then you'll see them like a year or two later when they have passed that blip, and they'll sometimes, like, I would say probably about half of them will then ignore you or be a bit sort of like snotty with you. And I'm like, what's that about? And it's because you've seen them at their low point and they don't want to acknowledge that kind of thing. And I think it's okay to show that your vulnerabilities. It's okay to show that, or even to do, what I did. I disappeared for a little while and then came back and went, look, this is why I disappeared, this is what happened, and then you carry on. But there's no shame in showing that you're having bad days or showing weakness. And I think it's important that we share those things. One, because it's an authentic experience to say, I'm struggling and I'm having a bad day or a bad week or a bad month. And also it just makes you a real person. If you go out going, I'm great, I'm untouchable, nothing ever happens to me, you just look fake straight away. So there's no shame in showing that, I struggled with that, I needed help, that person helped me, I got help there. It's that whole, the candles, what's that thing about, if you light your candle from another candle, it doesn't go out or something. There's just more candles. It's great.
I've never heard of that expression, but I'll look it up and find out and see if we can put it on the end. Very strange.
It makes sense. It makes complete sense.
I'm sure it makes complete sense in your little world.
It does.
And we'll leave
it does. Yeah.
There.
Yeah. In Hurley world, it makes complete sense. It's fine.
In Hurley world. Oh my Lord, I can see a new brand coming up. So last but not least, words of intent. This year, I'm asking industry leaders, I'm asking business people to choose a few words of what they want to try to achieve this year. What that might be, whether it's challenge to challenge yourself to be a better person, whether it's inspire because you want to inspire more people, whether it's to have peace in your life, have peace in your mind. What would your couple of words be that you want to try to do or be or act on for the next 12 months?
Do you know what? That's really difficult because I always say things like peace and balance and all of those kind of things. But in reality, I know that I'm a hyperactive nutbag and peace and balance are not in my future at all. So I'm guessing I'm just going to say change because change is what I'm good at. I'm just going to keep pushing forward, change, and be ready for all of those changes as best as I can be. Yeah. I'd love to say peace and balance and inspire and all of these lovely words, but you know that's not me at all.
I also know change for you must be a difficult one anyway, because you don't particularly like change and breaking your plans.
Nope.
I also know that you're an avid daily planner, and if the first thing goes wrong and changes, that's your whole day done, and you hide under your duvet. So I think change is a big word for you. So we're going to tag you on to change, and I thank you for that. Sarah, it's been a pleasure speaking to you today. Thank you so much for your time and just giving us a brief insight of who you are, what you're doing. Hopefully we'll catch up with you again in the next couple of months, just to kind of give us all a refresh of where you are, what's going on, and maybe we can see some of the brands and what's been happening.
Definitely.
But for now, I thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Craig. Speak to you soon.
Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye.